So I suppose I could try to do like a bit of a warm-up. Show you guys how to draw a character. A real simple, easy way of drawing a Celtic warrior. So, if you guys want to, grab your own pieces of paper and draw along, it'd be, again, nice to see what drawings you guys make at the end of this. Today, I'll be using a series of pens, depending how bored I am, but I don't know, pencils work fine, anything you can get a mark out of. So, let's start off. Starting off with a Celtic warrior. A nice easy way for it, I think, is if you draw a circle. Nice, again, don't have to be too precious with it. Get a circle, nice and easy. Then you get another circle inside that circle. Oh, up there, like this. And then have a third circle in there. Again, if you guys got any questions or anything with me while I'm doing this, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer anything I can. So here we got, either it looks like a donut, but it's the start of a shield. And inside the shield, you can do any sort of design you like. I don't know, just for simplicity's purpose, I'm going to make a nice sort of checkered. So I don't really do this, so I'm sort of trying to figure out a way how I can make it easier for you guys. But like on reflection, I think it's quite easy to sort of think about drawing in terms of shapes. So now we've got like this circle as a shield. We can sort of basically make this sort of, if we think of like a little rectangle, get a nice triangular foot in the end there. There you go, we've got like a leg, dead easy. And then stride is going to be like that. You've got another leg. And it's, now we've got like a walking donut. So, because their shield's covering their whole body, I am sort of making it so that, so this character I'm going to draw here, I'm going to draw other characters throughout this session, but I know one of my favourite characters in the Mabinogi is Branwen. I don't know why, I just taken a like to him. I always kind of draw him like that dude from ABBA, or the guy from the Bee Gees. It's fun to draw, like he's got like a nice big old beard, got like that for a moustache, big triangular nose. Right, so now he's sort of, his head is like poking out the side there. And there's something I like about the Celts is their helmets. I don't know if you've seen like a load of Celtic helmets, and I didn't know this until I was researching the book, but like they used to have like these really amazing ornate iron helmets. So good like that. With these ear guards, and I see these ears, it's almost like a big, like a bubble lighting J. So if you sort of, go to do like a J in bubble lighting with that thing, right. Again, another little triangles on the side there. Nice little bit of hair. Right, okay. So we've got this guy here. He's sprinting forward. I don't know, maybe you can make him look more angry or something. So the helmets used to have like different animals and stuff like that on top of them, or horns. It's loads amazing in British Museum. There's some, some great variety of helmets. Even this sort of Sutton Hoo. I quite like this helmet where it's got like these antennae. So if we go like that, so that makes this helmet. But they had like these, and so obviously like designed after looking at bugs in the wild. It's almost like an alien antenna, right? So, and now we're going to choose a weapon, right? So you can either sort of, this is the first drawing, I think, drawing a spear for you. You know, you guys it's probably easier to draw a spear. And what you do is, if you just draw a line straight across like that. Now, this is where a lot. Sorry, I tell you what, actually, I like to give him a bit of context. As you know, in the story of Branwen, you know, I always like to draw a bird in these things because the starling is basically what saves Branwen in a weird way. Like, she tames this starling. The starling tells Bran, or Bendigo, depending on which version you read, where she is. So, okay, so now we've got all the elements here. I'll draw a cloud too, because I like drawing my Celtic clouds. Although, if I'm ever going to mess up any part of this drawing, it's going to be with this cloud, definitely. And like that. Fiddly things. These clouds, by the way, were that it's kind of cheating because I was inspired by there's a place in Essex in Anglia called Sutton Hoo, and although like the helmet is currently in display at the British Museum, there's this helmet with like all these ornate like lines and markings and stuff like that, and I basically, you know, a few of the designs in this book are kind of designed after that. So I've got this coat and everything. Right. So now I've got this like wonderful, amazing pen, which is like a brush. Well, it is a brush pen, and it just really just blackens everything. Again, there's going to be moments where I don't know. I feel like obviously I'm talking at you, and you know, it gives me a bit of a complex. That does this really weird, it's like speaking into the void. But yeah, there's gonna be moments when I'm gonna go quiet because I don't want to mess this drawing up. Maybe coffee wasn't a good idea before this, as I can feel I'm a bit shaky. Right, so that's drawing one done. And you could definitely, like, I don't know, if we give this a blow. Forgive my head in that shot. You can also like to give a bit of texture. Draw. Nice and easy. As I'm, you know, if you guys got any suggestions or things that you'd like me to draw, maybe I can see if I can do them. I think I'm going to show you, I don't know, this is quite a simple drawing to master, I'd say. You know, and again, I'm colouring in because just to show you what you can do with it. Nice and easy. But yeah, I'm going to be drawing out different characters from my book, Branwen. Hopefully you guys have all seen it or heard of it. You know, I will also say, and you know, it's a great honour to work with her. I didn't do the Welsh translation, unfortunately. Although I'm trying to learn, I can't speak Welsh. But the amazing Meryrid Hopwood did the translation for my book, which is a real honour. So I'm very lucky. Here we go. These aren't the shields that my characters have in the book, but yeah, I'm going a bit overkill here, I think, but I'm going to draw a few boats, because, you know, like, one of my favourite parts of the story is the beginning, where, and I had great fun with this during the book, King Matholwch arrives on the Welsh shore in 13 like insanely beautiful boats. So I don't know, maybe I'll draw some boats later. I love drawing me a boat. Again, and I says for any questions, any comments, if anybody would like to, know anything, please let me know. What's that? Oh, I tell you what, now I've started this. I was only supposed to do black and white drawings, so for some reason I've gone into, I've gone full colour mode. Ooh, it's a bit darker than expected. So, drawing one done. What do you guys think? All good? What's really good about, interesting about Celtic history as well, it's a bit like a lot of ancient civilizations as well, is, you know, the female warrior. You know, again, like history is sort of kind of showing that, you know, men are the fighters, you know, women. But again, the same with Norse Norse history, with the shield maidens. Celts had a strong female warrior tradition. So, well, look at Boudica. But yeah. So maybe I'll draw a lady. Okay, so again, making it nice and simple for you guys if you want to draw along. I'm going to start off with a shield, maybe not a circular shield this time, so if we go for like an oblong. And then you go for an exact same principle as last time. So you've got your oblong, got another oblong inside the oblong. And you've got a circle in the middle. For my shield, eye. And this is inspired by a trip to St. Fagans. So it's an amazing shield of like these two rabbits fighting, and one was in the negative, you know, like sort of like black and white. But in the story of you know, Bran means raven. You know, maybe that's why in Game of Thrones Bran is the three-eyed raven. I don't know, probably. Because everyone knows that George R.R. Martin took a huge bite out of Celtic myth and loads of other myths. So, we've got this shield. What am I doing with this shield? Okay. And I'm going to draw a nice raven insignia on it. Like that. Like that. The reason I'm drawing in half like that as well is that I'm going to, have some in half, some not. Right, okay, so again, exact same thing. Do I want them running this time? I don't know, maybe if we go triangular feet again. Maybe this time standing. I gotta say, I just, in my eyes, made a mistake there because that foot's much fatter than the other. However, what I will say, and I really think this is important in drawing, and if there are any young kids or you know, art students watching, there's a real what's the word? People get too precious over their drawings, and it's something that took me far too long to learn when I was in art school, is that it's the mistakes that make the drawing good or special, you know? So sometimes you can make like such a big mistake, but that big mistake in a weird way can actually make the give the drawing an energy, you know? And you gotta realise that you're a human. I'm not just saying that to get myself out of dodge for messing up my drawing just then, but it's true. Okay, so we're gonna go like that, I think. And so I'm gonna draw an axe right now. And again, something about my book that, you know, kind of like hope that you all get is that in Celtic history, and you'll notice this in my book, not many people have swords. And the reason I did that is because only a select few people had swords. Most people did fight with axes or spears. And if you think about why, it's because think about the scarcity of materials and how long it must take a sword and how much metal is in the sword. It wasn't very practical, so only like really elite people in society fought with swords. Or had a sword, and sometimes, you know, didn't even use it. It was just like a status symbol. Whereas the axe, loads of axes were made because an axe, and I love this, it's the same reason why Thor has a hammer in Norse mythology. An axe and a hammer is not just something that is a fighting weapon, but it's also something that you can use to build. So most, and also again to the spear. The spear is like obviously mainly just like a giant stick with like a little tiny piece of metal on the end of it. So right, if we go, give it a bit more blob in there. Go like that. Again, get that bubbly J, get the ear guard in. Give this character horns. That's who doesn't like horns. So I go a bit quiet when I'm colouring in. And next up, I'm going to draw a boat, because boats are fun. All this is so simple, really simple. Voila! Not sure about that line. Try and make that a shadow. The old shadows go. Drawing number 2. Oh, shield maiden. Let's go for a boat. Let's do a nice old Welsh dragon boat. Okay, so top of my head. So start. When it comes to the boat, I like to start with the eye. And this, again, you see this sort of thing in quite a few, you know, Celtic statues and stuff, like this big sort of circular eye. Right, so if we go like that, go kink. So unfortunately, unlike the other two drawings, I can't really think of like a nice, easy, cheap way to sort of like in terms of like circles and shapes to draw this. But hopefully you guys just enjoy watching me draw it. It's maybe a bit big, but if we start like that. I always like to start with this bit of the boat, by the way, because then it gives you a nice shape going to, and I like to draw the waves afterwards. If you draw the boat then the waves, it doesn't sort of kind of work. So here we go, if we go like that, go like that. That's a second. Sharp old teeth. Also, I'm kind of, although I am kind of basing this off the Welsh dragon, it was the Irish, it's important to remember, the Irish had the nice boats, not us. So, next bit is join up a wave. Wavy, 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 wavy. So, if we go like scale. So for the 15 of you watching, how's it going so far? Like that. We have what looks like a bit of a boat at the moment. A bit annoying, I've done that tail end a bit longer. But, so, here we've got a boat. When I like sort of start drawing wood and everything, by the way, you know, it's quite an easy sort of like trick. So if you draw your thing and you want to make it look woody, I just like to, again, it doesn't really matter where, I just like to draw these like random lines. And I sort of, especially when you sort of colour it in afterwards, it just makes it, it gives it this sort of, without sounding too articulate, a woodiness to it. So, like that. So what's next is that you've got this boat now. What do you want to be put in the boat? We can have soldiers, or we can have horses, or horses and soldiers. I don't know, I've been drawing a lot of soldiers lately. Maybe I'll have someone playing the lute or something. So, woody, woody, woody. Okay, so if we again, you've got your triangular noses, dead easy to get the old like that. Like a little pig on top of his helmet. Pigs, by the way. Ah, thank you. Pigs, by the way, you know, turn up in math, the story of math, and yeah, they're sort of seen as this sort of food or this animal of the gods in some sort of weird way. Because, you know, of tasty bacon, I guess. But the boar is also a powerful symbol to the Celts. Because, well, not only were they a food source, but the way that they used to stubbornly fight people and be fearless is sort of something to be revered. Okay, so we've got one guy there, he's holding his little tiny axe. Well, not very much going for. Okay. So, sorry guys, just gonna have a sip of coffee. I'm going to draw a guy with a lute. Why not? So, the way you do that is like that. May I say, the lute might be the incorrect term for this instrument. proper crooner. Kind of looks like a face there, but yeah, again, this is all based off of design I saw in old manuscripts. Hunched over plan, and why not have a horse? Because horses are an integral part of the story of Branwen. All easy peasy. Right, okay. So, now we have these characters. I'm still messing about with. What am I doing? Dee-dee-dee. Horse is happy so far. Also, guys, again, talk about a little bit about my practice, I suppose, at the moment. It's like, what I'm doing there is adding like a little bit of texture and stuff. I think when it comes to making your own artwork or doing your own drawings, any little bit extra you can do, like a little bit of depth, like the old like little mark, definitely I think helps in making your illustration richer. And in a weird way, like in all my illustrations and like my own, like not just you know, my book Branwen, but in all my illustrations I try to like hide things really sometimes in like in the image, whether it's, I don't know, some sort of point or background history that I find fascinating. And you know, because to be honest, like a lot of illustration commissioners couldn't really care about a lot of the stuff and the issues. So if there's something that's interesting you in particular about something, I don't slip it in. I quite like slipping things in. Perfect example is in the story of Branwen. I don't know if you guys have seen my my Q&A post, but it's like in this illustration, I was interested in Celtic mythology, and so I added like a little illustration of the story of Ogmios into Bran's scabbard. Ogmios was like a Hercules figure in Celtic myth who had this big long tongue with chains coming onto it, and on the chains were attached people. But basically what this was symbolic of is not that he was this guy who was chaining people up, but because it was his tongue that was chaining people up, it was, you know, basically saying that he was a smooth talker. He's someone who could get people to do what he wanted by oration, and that is massive in. That's massive in Celtic myth, especially as when Caesar, unfortunately, one of the only like accounts of Celtic life that we can really like gauge is from Caesar's conquest of Gaul. But when he talks about religious practices, and we don't know much about their religious practices, he says how the gods are very similar to, say, the Roman or Greek gods, but the pantheon is like in a different order. So whereas Zeus or Jupiter is the lord of the gods, or the boss of the gods, as it were, Hermes is the Celtic boss of the gods. He was seen as this I don't know, the smooth talking guy of trade who can get things moving, who could like seal deals and stuff like that. I find that quite fascinating. Maybe I shouldn't have gone into his mouth there. No! That's annoying. Okay, so... Again, this is very much an asterisk-y sort of sail here. Okay, you can get the old woody texture. I say I like drawing these sort of Celtic clouds. Hello everyone who's maybe joined or rejoined. Yeah, I like drawing these Celtic clouds, which are, you know, again based on, you know, Paul Graham as I speak. The Sutton Hoo helmet. I also, and I'm going to draw a little bit now. The way I've drawn water in my book is the same, you know, some same references. I like these like sort of, I don't know, the way that the Celts and I don't know, Celtic tribes sort of made things sort of. It's the same with like a lot of drawing, like how doing things with different processes get different results. So a lot of the things in their pots or in their carvings, they have like a style to them, but it's not because, say, they didn't or couldn't draw a tree like it was. It's because in a weird way your hand gets forced, and I've experienced it while drawing. When I make liner cut, like my style, and again maybe it's why it sort of kind of works with the book, is I've always used liner cut to draw or make work. And the thing is with lino, you start to basically get moulded by it in that you start to draw in a certain way in which you, well, it's easier, you know, you're going to have to cut a line out of it, so you make lines and you make decisions of your artwork based on how you're going to, thinking, oh my god, I'm going to have to carve this out. And, you know, again, this is purely conjecture, but I can't help but imagine that a Celtic artist must have been the same when they're like, wow, we've got this idea, we want to have my like bust looking just like this, and you'd be like, oh my god, I'm going to have to carve this out of stone, are you sure? But yeah. Right, that looks a bit, it's getting a bit offensive, if I go, woo. Good to draw like the gods. Again, something I find really amazing about reading Celtic myth is the names that pop up, and you don't realise like how ancient these names are. For example, there's a god, a Celtic god called Dylan, and you're just thinking, you know, when you like look at sort of Norse mythology or Greek mythology, and you've got these pantheon of gods with these really obscure names like Hephaestus or something like that. When you got like, you know, granted, you know, for non-Welsh speakers there's a few names that are a bit tricky, but then I don't know, you got Gosfanon and Dylan. You know what I mean? It's quite funny. You know, and loads of names like that sort of pop up as well, like Gwyn and stuff like that. And you go, like Gwyn? My granddad's name was Gwyn. Right, here we go, we've got one boat. I think I add a bit more texture to it. Again, it's such a shame that I don't know, this isn't sort of like a live event that we could do, and you know, I can teach you all how to draw Celtic boats and I don't know, maybe give you all some free drawings, but alas. Oh, don't forget the helmet. I do like these brush pens, by the way, because you can really get some like nice textures and stuff out of them. Like, oh, I like the horse. Oh, thank you. So, if any of you have read my book or read the story of Branwen or know the story of Branwen, you know horses get a bit of a raw deal in that story. Should I draw strings on that thing? The loot kind of looks like some sort of robot or something, doesn't it? Good show, nice. Maybe not a bad thing. How can we make this drawing a bit richer? So, more clouds, I say. That's what I say. More clouds. Right, okay. More clouds. Let's draw like some more land over there. Some land, so it actually looks like they're going somewhere. There. Coming from somewhere. Hell, why not draw Bran in the background? So again, you know, like when you're sort of drawing, sometimes you can overdo it, I must say. But you know, have fun with it, and if there's little things that you want to add. Okay, so we've got shadow of a walking Branwen. Such an amazing story. Like, I remember when I first found out about this story, or mainly about the Mabinogi, and it's particularly like this bit of the bit where Bran or Bendigeidfran, he's strolling across the Irish Sea, and again, I don't know. There's different sources that say different things, and when I first, and again, it's funny how you sort of like lean to your own bias on what, you know, how you want the story to be told. But I mean, you look at different sources, and so, you know, they say, oh, the Irish Sea was much smaller back then, so you could like walk across it. So okay, this is enough drawing down. Thank you everyone for tuning in, I guess, and watching me draw and talk to myself for for an hour. Have a good day and hope you're all keeping well. Bye.